Believe it.
Hi, this is Orby. Good evening, and welcome to our very special edition of our first crossover show for Straight Talk on Motivation. We're going to be talking what we usually talk about during our show, but we're going to cross over to the real book talk because we have a very special guest with us this evening and this afternoon, sorry. And she's going to be talking about two books, Officer Kate and Her Safety Expert's Adventure. And her name is Mya. I'm telling you about the first book first. And her name is Mya Garrison. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Okay.
it.
Yeah. I met Maya through a referral from one of our authors, coaches, and trainers who is actually an Amazon #1 best-selling author. And of course, I helped her get her book out there. And I'll mention her name during the process of time. I don't know if she wants me to, but we'll see what happens. And both her books are about children and adventure and safety and some other stuff. But I'm going to let her give her this opportunity during this interview to tell us who she is, what she's doing, how she got started with the book and the books, and kind of what helped build her out. I know my son is a fan of hers. As a matter of fact, he just came into the studio and said, "Hi, how you doing?" And you all know Jojo, he never gets into the studio, but I guess he wanted to say hello. All right. So, Maya, tell us a little bit about who you are, and then we're going to kind of get around to the book. Okay?
Yes, sir. First, thank you for having me on here. I really do appreciate it. My name is Maya, and I'm 26 years old. Um, I write children's books. I enjoy children and feeding them knowledge that they can utilize in the real world. My first book I ever wrote was this one here called Officer Kate and Her Safety Expert's Adventure. And it just teaches kids how to stay safe online and in the real world. Unfortunately, as we know, a lot of kids are going missing, unfortunately, and it's heartbreaking. If kids can learn certain songs and mannerisms, they can learn how to also stay safe online in the real world as well. Um, our kids are sometimes exposed to a lot of stuff that they shouldn't be, but that's okay because we're going to prepare them, how to stay safe online and in the real world. Um, Officer Kate goes through many scenarios and talks about um, how to stay safe, how to say no, good touch, bad touch, and just making sure that the child is happy and also safe. That's the gist of just making sure the child is safe and happy and using their voice and utilizing their voice.
Okay.
And
So, what inspired you to write this book in particular? Did you have some experiences growing up that you wanted to share with a life or the student or the kids? And obviously, you have a love for kids because,
right.
yeah.
Um, I had a really good childhood. My family, showed me, um, exposed me to a lot of things, that was very informative for me now, and I can appreciate now. Back then, I didn't understand or appreciate it, but now I do. Yeah, it. It was one time I was in a camp, a summer camp that my parents enrolled me in, and basically in that camp, it was a speaker that came in there and talked about, sex trafficking and kids going missing, and that just always stuck with me. Yeah. Um, I think that's kind of what inspired me to do it because I guess I keep seeing, kids going missing or something bad unfortunately happening to a child. So, and I don't like that. It hurts when I look at stuff like that. So, yeah. Hey, JoJo.
And here, Jojo, I know you're giving you're telling to be mute because you're here. Okay, go ahead and do what you want to do with this. All right, here. I know you know what to do, but you're gonna tell the audience later why you're sneaking in here. Go ahead. All right, yes, let's get back. So the inspiration came from your desire or want or need to help kids understand who they are and how to navigate the internet and all of the other things that can become problematic for them.
hmm
And these are very important points that you're making for kids. And you're pretty young yourself in terms of coming along, so you fit
Yeah.
right in to the model. What are the experiences out there like that you know from so far, from what some of the kids that have perhaps read your book or things that you know yourself that has happened that you'd like to share? That
Okay, let
would
me
con
make sure
that would
I
con
have the question right.
that
Um,
that would What are some of the experiences that you have had in terms
mhm.
of when people read your book, or even your parents or friends or
Uh-huh.
relatives or neighbors that would allow them to want to help contribute to purchasing the book or sharing the book with other people? What are some of the key things?
Well, I've gotten a lot of great feedback as far as the book.
Hmm.
It's a really great bonding time with the parent and child because most of the time, the parent is at work, the child is at school, so it's kind of tricky when it comes to bonding. You probably may have 48 hours on the weekends possibly, and that's not everybody's, situation. Some parents have to work on the weekends, so it just depends. I feel like the book is a great bonding technique, and it's also very important to have because it is a touchy subject,
Hmm.
and I feel like the book is a great icebreaker. Um, we do talk about it also we talk about good touch, bad touch, saying no to strangers in different scenarios, and also being safe online as well, not talking to um, people that you don't know online and sharing important information online. We go through an activity part where they make a safety shield. And also it's a quiz in the back to make sure that, the child has obtained the information. um, I think those are the key factors of the book and, why you guys should buy it.
I know Jojo kind of absconded with the books. I was looking around the studio to see if I found them, and
Uh-huh.
somewhere he's got them hidden. He hasn't revealed where yet. But I
Oh,
know
okay.
he told me he's going to talk that he said, Dad, there's one thing missing from this whole interview thing you're doing, and it's me.
Oh.
And I said, okay, so I'm sure you're going to share some ideas because, he just won an award in school for reading. He's a very avid reader and also a learner. And he's
hmm
constantly online learning new things and developing himself. And you sometimes you can hear him saying, "Oh, wait, what did I say?" And then he'll come in, he'll say, show me what's going on. I'll say, well, you don't need to be a part of that, because you have to monitor kids online because, like you said, there's so much content out there. So this book sounds
Yeah.
like a real opportunity for communication and for parents to sit down with their kids and see what's going on. Now, Emma, Max, and Nancy are three friends who face different safety challenges. They become confused on what to do the next time they face these dangers. And luckily, a safety buddy named Officer Kate visits the school and they embark on a series of adventures to become safety experts. Now, That's one of the key summaries in the book that I looked at because I know when Jojo's in school and some of his other friends, they do this safety touching thing too. Because one of the things that I'm is important to me is parent-teacher partnerships.
Mhm.
And when I'm in the school and I'm talking to the parents, the teachers, and some of the parents, we really reflect on what the kids are coming home with, what they're learning, how they're growing, and how they're changing. And I remember that Jojo had an episode in the store one day when he was talking to this guy, and the guy seemed a little bit off, and he just stepped back and he walked away. And I never seen him done that before, and that was only 2 times it happened. And he's now
Mm,
7, but
mm,
he's very sensitive to people, places, animals, and things. And when he come home, he can't always express himself, but sometimes if you sit down with him, which I usually do, he will begin to explain in full explanation method of what happened, you know? And then he'll
yeah.
start telling you about what points he's got to make and so on and so forth. But anyway, we're going to get back to him a little later. Now, your second book is Dreams Beneath Water, all right? Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about that.
All
You
right.
got one with
So,
you? Yeah.
Dreams Beneath Water.
Uh-huh.
This book is about Miss Daisy Carson, and this is back in the old days, 1920s, when things were really rough for people like you and me. And she she goes through life, only 17, just trying to be a human and
Mhm.
have the same qualities that we have now, but she wasn't able to have that. So, um, she, hold on. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional.
It's okay. It's okay. Completely understood.
Um, mm, okay. So basically with her, she has her family and she has her family store and she um
Hmm.
is just working at her family store and everything is fine. And then one day, unfortunately, she gets a note, or the family store gets a note saying that they're going to burn down the whole town. Just out of the blue. And mind you, before she got this note, she just got a letter saying that she was accepted to Spelman.
Hmm.
She has her whole life ahead of her, and now she gets this stomach dropping, heart-wrenching note saying that the store is going to be burnt down and her town is going to be burnt down. And this is not a make-believe story. This is a real story. Um, and it didn't happen that long ago, if you think about it.
Nope, it didn't.
Um, and unfortunately, Daisy doesn't never gets to go to Spelman. She just dies, unfortunately, but her story is still alive. Her story is still told. So yeah.
So, I mean, let me just read a little bit here about what you're saying in terms of this, and then you can tell us a little bit more about what really inspired you to want to pursue this, because this is a very serious topic, and it has some very interesting connection to a lot of things that have been going on and going on now. And back then, young people at that age were considered a little bit older for the time, and people don't really know that kind of thing. But like my grandmother used to tell me a lot of stories about living back in the Caribbean and people who migrated over here and being young, having all these experiences. Life is never as easy as people think.
Yeah.
But Dreams Beneath Water is a story, like you said, about Daisy Carson, a bright young black girl from Oscarville, Georgia. Now, quick question. When you wrote this book, did you ever think that this could become a screenplay for a movie?
Um, I didn't, but I really didn't. I keep having these feelings of just going to Lake Lanier, just go to Lake Lanier. And I'm from Atlanta, Georgia,
Hmm.
and my mom never goes to Lake Lanier. My father, I don't think they go to Lake Lanier on that side of the family either. None of us go to Lake Lanier. So I was a little skeptical, but I'm just like, okay, because I kept getting this feeling, just go there, just go there.
Just go there.
Um, then I looked and seen like you can't even go in the water. You can't go in the water. It's just ice cold. And now they put a heater in the water so that way it won't be as cold. They have made this land a resort, and that's
It
not.
has it has kind of a heinous history of sorts with a lot of the things that have happened there in terms of the tragedies and all of the other behaviors related to that.
Mhm.
And as you're saying here, um, where dreams are of attending Spelman College are tragically cut short. That's a very serious thing, you know. They have an experience that changes the entire trajectory, and here you are writing about it and sharing information about this type of thing. And this was back in the 1900s, like you said. And it really, like you're saying, this is 2026, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
That's not long at all,
Yeah.
you know? And so when you heard the story, you felt compelled to write the book.
Um, I don't know what came over me about writing this book. It was just I really can't put my finger on it. Mm. I kept being nudged to go to Lake Lanier and just go, and I just got the inspiration from seeing what they have done to this place. This was a town, it was a black town. It was called Oscarville, and before a Lake Lanier, and now they're making it a resort called Margaritaville. Now this is just
Right.
a party land for, you know, them. So, it's sad. But it needs to be talked about. It needs to be taught. It needs to be talked about. And yeah.
I think one of the things that you've got on your side for this book is what we all in the publishing industry call timing. When you are talking about a subject that has a relationship to what is going on environmentally, it brings people to the center of the room to ask the conversation in terms of discovery. We didn't know this happen. Why did it happen? Or how can we contribute to making it a life lesson that we can learn from? So, what do you want your reader to learn from reading this book in terms of what you've discovered about the history of this place?
Um,
You want them to become more proactive in self-discovery, or what do you think your reader needs to know in order to go and pick up this book and share it with their child, for example?
I want them to feel empowered. I want them to not be angry. but be productive and just go after your dreams, whatever it is. It could be college, it can be anything, starting your own business. Just don't give up and keep going and don't let anyone stop you or tell you otherwise because Daisy did not have that chance, unfortunately. Um,
Yeah, and America is now celebrating 250 years of independence, coming up
yeah.
July the 4th in a couple of days. Actually, what 15 is the 17th, about maybe 20 days or so. And I'm going to ask everyone to go to your website and do a little bit of deep diving, if you will, for lack of a better word. It's dreams beneath water to find out what's going on and share information. Get in touch with learning about yourself. MyaandFriends.org. That's MyaandFriends.org. For more information and details, it's one of the places that you can check out. But I'm hoping that Maya decides to start her own podcast because we were talking about it a few minutes ago when I came on, and I'm always interested in edutainment and education. And I know that our history as Black people, and this being National Caribbean American Heritage Month, applies from that perspective for me. And when I listened to you, and one of the things that made me want to do this interview is because a lot of what you're saying as it relates to your family comes from the same place that I come from in the Caribbean, Barbados. And like I was saying to you earlier when we started the interview, that one of the first books that a lot of us have read, we started with the Quran, then we get down to the Bible in terms of historical reference. And when we look at all of these journaling moments and all of the contributors, the factors and the considerations that come into being from reading these books, we learn a lot of things about who we are and where we come from. This adventure continues inside of what is going on now because we are the first time in history and the history of the world as we know it that so many things are happening very hypersonically, and I mean that's beyond speed and time, you know. And right now we have to maintain a war not just against racism, racism goes beyond color. Color is where it starts, but a lot of different subcultures hate themselves and hate each other because it's a mentality thing that we've got to start looking at. Because right now we are challenged by AI, we are challenged by robotics and all of the other innovative things that are going on around us. And we never even had the chance to discover ourselves as human beings to figure out, hey, why are we here? But here you are, a young lady, 26 years old, and you're looking at two very specific things from a literary standpoint that you created. And going to encourage every person that watched this show to begin the process of really going to her website, MyaandFriends.org, pick up the book, breeze through it, support her, and then begin the process of asking questions. Call her up. I think she'll be more than willing to listen. I know are you going to be doing any speaking engagement at schools and universities and stuff?
Um, I'm in the process of getting started with that. I've been calling certain schools. Um, right now I haven't gotten much luck, but I'm still, again, still working on it.
Don't worry about the luck. We're going to go beyond luck. We know peoples that know peoples.
Okay. Okay.
And you know what's really nice is like when I said timing earlier, I meant that you have access to utilizing social media aggregation to get out here and do your, even if it's for 15 minutes or pop up. If
Hmm.
you want to start out with a pop up, hi, this is Maya coming your way. Let's talk a little bit about a little bit of safety, you know. And there's a police officer here in Georgia that he's a policeman in schools, and he's also a crisis management person, and he's a DJ. I'm not
Oh,
going to
nice.
mention his name, but I'll call
Okay.
him up and I'll say, dude, you got to check out this book because he has a book, something to do with escape, right? and he's a part of the school policing. But he
Mm.
was a former SWAT officer coming out of New York City. Some of the stories he told me, I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna let him share the story, right? But it's great when
Yeah.
you meet people who have been through things like this and understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And when it's an honor to really interview you and learn these things because growing up in Barbados, I learned that I come from a nation of slave masters. And that was the commencement ceremony for exportation of slave mentality. And I remember part of my storyboard is when the first slaves came to America, they came because they were considered the house Negroes. And they came and they landed in Charleston, South Carolina. And the first year they were planting crops and trying to figure out what next to do. And the slave masters died in the first during the first winter, and the slaves were left to try to figure out what they're gonna do next. They didn't have any money to go back to Barbados, so they found a way to do what they gotta do. And this just reading this and seeing the connection between both books, safety, security, historic relevance, culture, art, history, music, all of that. You've hit a pie kind of thing here with these books, So I encourage you to continue, and I encourage you to come back on here and continue this conversation with doing your own podcast, doing your little bit of thing as a part of the week goes by. And I can't wait for you to be doing some workshops and I attend and we can record it and do some stuff. I don't know. Maybe am I too excited?
No, it's just getting started. No.
We're just getting started.
Yeah.
So any final words that you want to say to the audience today inside our Straight Talk and Motivation Show?
Well, first, thank you for taking the time out your day to hear us talk and speak. Um, I hope you found something out of it, some inspiration, um, and also encouragement, that the generation is not, this generation is not gone down here, hill, sorry. All of us are not, the same. And yeah, buy the book. Support me, please.
Yeah, I'm an advocate. My son loves what you're doing, and you remember the conversation you and him had.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I will give him permission to come on air and talk to you about that between the two of you.
Okay,
Because
cool.
Jojo is something else when it comes to his love for reading,
Mm-hmm.
his reading of people and really being excited about things like this. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's back out there doing his thing and we're finishing it up. So we're going to be right back with you right after this session. We're going to play a couple of songs and come right back. Stay tuned and keep us on the lock. Maya, thank you for joining us. And you can hang
Thank
with us
you.
until the show ends, or you can leave whenever you're ready, and you'll be back with us, and we'll be in touch. Okay?
Awesome.
So
Thank
take care.
you.
All right.
Carry Voice Radio.
Believe it.